Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rina the Wolf, and wow, I know it's been a while since we had a regular format video, so here we go. It's been a while, and this topic actually got me thinking for a while now, because truth be told, I know you noticed, everybody knows, I'm not a native speaker. What a shocker, right? So I have been thinking a lot about this, like how insecure I used to be, and I'm still a little bit insecure when it comes to my accent, but I actually learned to appreciate and love that I do have an accent, and shit, it was a bumpy road, and it was a very long road to take. And most probably, if you are not a native speaker, you are also struggling to accept your accent. So I have been studying and speaking English since the age of 6. Truth be told, it's more than 10 years, more than 20, and more than 25 years now. So yeah, it's a lot of time. And when I started learning English, it was all fun, right? I did not even realize that my accent was so thick, because trust me, if you think this is a thick accent, you should have heard me in the early 2000s and at the end of the 90s. I'm not kidding. Or even at the very beginning of the 2010s. So I have always been confident about my vocabulary, about how I speak. Sometimes grammar. Yeah, sometimes grammar was absolutely awful, and up to this day, it happens. I screw grammar up because, hey, sometimes, yeah, I still need to think about how I should say a thing or two. And yes, I will always speak broken English, more or less. But I always used it confidently. And then, shit, I got into university. And I was an English major. So the thing is, I grew up in a very, very small town. And, well, up until the very early 90s, English was not one of the languages kids could learn in school. It was Russian. And so a lot of teachers had to quickly learn English, which is fine. I'm not blaming anyone, but this was the case. And it was not easy. At school, at elementary school, I thought, I'm brilliant. And I was brilliant compared to my peers. And in high school, I was brilliant compared to my peers. I was one of the best. And then when I got into university, all this confidence was just destroyed. And I heard how thick my accent really was, right? But I am going to be completely honest. Up until university, so the end of my teens and the very beginning of my 20s, I did not really like watching series and films in English. Reading, more or less, yes. But like watching something, I was like, ew, hell no, why? And then I gave up. I gave in, and I started watching series and films in English. Up until then, I did not even realize how awful Hungarian dubs could be. Hey, and I'm not shaming anyone. Like, cartoons were brilliant. And some films were also brilliantly dubbed. But then I was just like, ooh. And as years kept passing by, and sometimes, yes, I still watch films in Hungarian when I visit my parents or when they visit me because they don't speak English. And each and every single time I'm like, yeah, the original is way better. So, yeah. So I realized how thick my accent was, and I will let you guys know something. In this university, in English major, we only had a couple of foreigners. And by foreigners, I mean people from Africa, all around Africa, Turkey, Japan, maybe, China, definitely. And even their accents were not as thick as mine. So what I did was the following. I kept watching this series and films in English. I also started to dive much more into YouTube because it was the beginning of the 2010s. And I just realized that there were much more LGBTQ content in American and British YouTube, right? So at first I was like, okay, so maybe, just maybe, I should pick up a different accent. I can learn it. And for a good while, I thought I could. So in elementary school and high school, I learned British English. And I kind of liked it. And then in university, shit, I had to learn a lot of English. British, American, a little bit of Australian, Canadian as well, just a little bit. So, yeah, I was confused. And every once in a while, I switched from American films and series to British. Or that was this one particular time when I watched a Scottish series. And for one whole episode, I was just like, what the hell? Why can't I understand what's going on? This was the same when I watched an Australian series or film, and I was like, okay, so I need to listen more because this is English. This is fucking English. You have been studying, learning, speaking English for how long now, dude? Like, come on. So I started to play with the accents, and first I was really American. I completely tried to leave British English behind because I was like, America is dope. And then after a while, I came back to British English, but it did not work. So here's the thing. When I started to pick British English back up, well, I was still a university student, but I took a job. This particular job was a customer service representative with a European airline. So mostly British people called us. And I tried to pick it up. Shit, it was a disaster. My British English is terrible. And there was this one particular call when I have no idea what the customer's issue was. Okay, it was years ago. And we talked and we talked and we talked. I saw that it was a British number, okay? And we kept talking and talking and talking. And then this guy was just like, double checking everything. Like we went through the ticket, the route, whatever. So every time he said something, I was like, yeah. And then for the last time, I was like, again, which means yes in Hungarian. And there was this moment of awkward silence. And then he was like, all in Hungarian, shit, are you Hungarian? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, I didn't even know, like, you sounded European, but I had no idea you were Hungarian. So I took it as a compliment, right? And I loved it, even though my British accent was so off. Oh, I cringe at the thought. I still tried to hide that I am Hungarian. Up until, I think it was my very last year in university, and we had this one professor who is actually brilliant. He studies Hungarian and American relations. And first of all, the first thing he said, and I think it will never just leave my mind, it's literally burned in the back of my head. So the thing that he said was, it's okay to have some patriotic or nationalist feelings as long as you stay open to other nations and accept their culture and whatnot. So I was like, okay, this guy knows what he talks about. And then the second thing was that you can try to fight it, you can try to erase it, you can do anything and everything you want, but you will never be able to get rid of your accent 100%. And this one sentence kept haunting me for years. And I was like, sure, I'm going to show him one day, for sure. One day I'm going to show him. And he was right. Even though you can't hear my thick accent anymore, it's still there. You know that I'm not a native speaker. And for another couple years, I did hate it. And I wanted to get rid of it so bad. And then I started YouTube and streaming, and I was like, I'm not going to do that in Hungarian. I mean, shit, no. I can explain things better in English. I can express myself better in English. Even though my mother tongue's vocabulary is so vast, I'm pretty sure I don't know like half of the words, and I mean it. We have so many dialects. Sometimes I have no idea what other people talk about who come from another region. So I started YouTube, I started Twitch in English, and I was very insecure. First of all, sometimes I can have severe anxiety. And even though my customer service and service desk days helps me a little bit with speaking in general, or public speaking, or speaking in English, it helped. But I was still so nervous because I was like, oh shit, what if I'm still not good enough and people would just not understand me? And I realized that they did. Native speakers understood what I was rambling about in streams. And shit, okay, they knew also. Why wouldn't they know that I'm not a native speaker? People will know, always. So the thing is, on Twitch, I just got affiliated, right? So back in the day, I thought that, yeah, that Twitch money is going to come like this. So I was naive, and once I got affiliated, I turned ads on, like right away. I'm pretty sure I was streaming The Walking Dead. I was lost. I'm usually lost in games so bad. And I had one of my friends on stream. He was watching, we were having fun. And, you know, I was literally laughing my ass off because I was so lost. And then there was this one guy who joined the stream, and he started mocking me. It was literally the first and last time I saw him there. And first of all, he just wanted to mock me, like, why don't I speak proper English? Or if I was drunk, maybe I should turn ads off. He actually demanded that I turn the ads off just because he didn't like it. And I was like, hello, this is my channel. If you don't like it, you can fuck off. But I was still laughing because, you know, I was actually in a good mood and I just didn't want to ruin it. So this guy kept going on and started mocking me regarding my English skills, my grammar, my voice. And even though I was laughing, I ended up banning him because, like, fuck, dude, if you don't like me, just fuck off. You don't have to watch my channel. Listen, I'm open to critique, but if you just want to mock me, fuck off. So yeah, I did laugh about it, but once the stream ended, I felt that all my confidence was taken away. Nevertheless, I kept doing it and I forgot about it. And then after a while, I did talk to my native speaker friends, like, hey, is my English that bad? And they were like, what the hell? No. And yeah, sometimes it's hard. But truth be told, I did learn a language. And I'm not trying to shame anyone, but a lot of English speakers or Spanish speakers or whichever main language speakers decide not to learn another language. And I get it. English is not that hard. Okay, I could have learned something harder. That's true. But hey, if you want to mock me, come and try to learn my language. Okay. So I just realized after a while that this one particular professor was right. I will never be able to lose my accent 100%. And I think I should talk about why my accent keeps changing just in another video, because I think I know the problem about it, and it's not really a problem, but I'm rambling again already. So yeah, my friends understand me. My colleagues who live abroad understand me. The people I supported and I've been supporting in service desk and customer service do understand me. Step by step, I did accept that I will always have an accent. Sure, so what? This will make me unique. And I'm not even trying to hide my accent anymore. And, you know, back in the service desk days, when I was still on the phone, like, there were some people who asked me, oh, and where are you from? And I was always like, haha, nice, guess. And mostly they did not know anymore that I was Hungarian, you know, and it made me proud, not because I want to hide my national identity anymore. It's just because it means that I did learn to control my accent and it's not that thick anymore. Sure, sometimes I struggle with pronunciation still a little bit, especially with words I have never seen. It happens and it will happen. I mean, languages keep changing and they will never stop changing day by day. So, hey, if you don't like your accent, just embrace it. Just accept it. You can work on it. But the fact is that you will never be able to cover it up 100%. And that's fine. Because you should be proud of who you are. You should be proud of where you come from. And you should be proud of that you have learned another language. Because not everybody does that. But you did. Okay, so I am really rambling. So I think this was way more than enough of me rambles. So if you like this video, please consider giving this a good old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, it helps me a lot. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.